Hey everyone, Nagin here. I am the owner and head event lead planner for Glamour and Glitz Events. I am today going to discuss with you guys why I started my business in the first place and what led me to where I am today. If you talk to my mom, she would tell you that I've always had event planning or planning in general in my genes. For class one time, I actually came up with a business for birthdays for kids. And then I went to college for actually social work, and I graduated. And my first job out of college was not for social work. It was actually working at a wedding dress boutique. It was Marie Crawford's Elegant Boutique in Urbana, Maryland. And there I learned all about wedding dresses and talked to brides and anything and everything you can think of. And the owner of the store actually owned Elite Elegant Events, which was located in Frederick, Maryland. One day we were all just hanging out and she asked me if I could do a wedding for her. And keep in mind, I've never done a wedding ever in my entire life. And so she basically threw me into it and she was like, here's a binder. It has all the information you need for the wedding. Here we go for it. I just want to see how you do. I'm sure you're great. And we went from there. And that day I went to the venue, and it was on Sugarloaf Mountain. It was a beautiful venue. It's still there if you guys are interested in looking at it. It's really, really pretty. We've done multiple weddings there since then. I went there and I did what I could do of what I learned, and it was so crazy. That was one of my first weddings I had ever done. It was really, really intense. It was kind of fun, but like kind of stressful at the same time, but it came out beautiful. And I just remember going back and I was talking to her about it, and I was really excited, and I was like, wow, it was really cool. It was a great experience. And she just from then on was like, you should help me with other events. And she kind of just threw me into it, and she was like, here, this is how you do it. And she walked me through the steps of how to do it. And I think because of her, I grew the passion of planning and making it into something that I never thought it could be. For me, it was more of like, this is fun, let's do this. And then it became into something where I knew I could make a business out of it. So when I talked to her, she had told me that to be a really good planner, you had to know everything there was to be one. So when you go to plan an event, you need to know the ins and outs of planning it, right? The steps. So you need to know how the florist puts centerpieces together. How does she make a boutonniere? How does she do a bouquet? Caterer aspect behind it, how they manage the background work of it, what goes into the actual catering. There was the DJ, like how does he populate the songs? What's the flow of the event? How the little tiny steps. So I actually took what she said to heart, and I went and decided to shadow a bunch of vendors so that I would know what they do for each event. I went and shadowed a DJ for about 2-3 months. I went and joined a catering team, and I helped them through an event. I joined Star Bride, and they're located in Virginia, about 10-11 years ago, I think. I don't even know if they're still around, but they used to do huge bridal shows, so I learned how to put shows together. I learned I took floral classes. I worked for a florist for a little bit, so I know how to do centerpieces and bouquets and boutonnieres. And then I went back and did events with her, and knowing all that knowledge that I know now, I think it helps me be a better planner, because if something were to go wrong, for example, wrong flowers in a boutonniere and the right flowers are in the centerpieces, I know how to create my own boutonniere very quickly, spot on the day. Something going wrong with the system of the DJ, like I know how to fix it really quickly. Transitioning songs in the timeline, instead of jumping from like cutting off the music and going into something that's like a dull moment, you know that it's gonna break the flow, and a DJ usually knows how that goes with the flow, and you don't want to like break the excitement of being on the dance floor. So I learned all that stuff, and it was great, exciting way to not only put experience under my belt, but also learn how it is to be a great planner. And then when you're a planner, you take everything you know and you make the event happen. So then from there, I actually did get a job and I worked at a mental health daycare kind of center for a little bit. And I remember sitting there and I was like, this isn't for me. I love event and weddings and I need to go back to this. So I talked to her and to the lady that I worked with before, and I opened my own business. And through that, I have learned so much, and it has been an incredible 10 years. I learned when you open a business, it's not just the passion of you wanting to do event planning and wedding planning, but it's also the passion of seeing the smile on people's eyes and like the thank yous at the end of the night. They're great, they're wonderful. It just makes you feel so good inside that like you pulled off something and it's the once in a lifetime thing for them, and it's great. But also what you don't realize is while you are pursuing your passion, you're actually also building a business. And so you technically have 2 full-time jobs. So you have your business side, which is a full-time job on its own, and then your event planning wedding side, which is another full-time position on its own. So you have 2 full-time positions and you're trying to make them both work. And I didn't go to school for business, but I think through the 10 years I learned how to do everything. I am my own digital marketer. I learned how to make a website, which is a pain in the butt, but if you open a business, these are things you have to keep in mind that you have to do. Things that I wish I knew before I opened it. You learn how to be more extroverted instead of introverted. Being introverted in this industry is not possible. You have to put your foot out. You have to talk to people. You have to make connections with vendors and venues, and that is the only way you will ever grow in this industry. I will make another video that talks about the business a little bit more, but this was more on why I opened the business in the first place. And thank you for listening. I hope you guys enjoy other videos that we do, and I hope to see you later on. And congratulations for those who are engaged. If you are planning a birthday party, a bridal shower, anything you can think of, we do it all, and we really enjoy it to the fullest.